All right, everybody, welcome to what could turn out to be one of the best games of the season. My name is Cardinal, and I'm joined by Ro tonight for this match between TU Dublin Apes, which are our reigning champions, and UL Esports. Ro, how are you keeping?
Yeah, not too bad. It's a bit of a stormy night here up in Belfast. I'm not sure what it's like for you at the minute, but I'm hoping this game of CS will really warm our hearts, in this winter season.
Oh yeah, I hope so. And I think all our viewers at home are going to feel the same way. But with that said, we're going to be getting started in just a moment. So we've had the veto come through. All the players are in the server. We're just waiting for the last few to ready up. And it should be a banger. I'm hoping so anyway. But Ro, would you be so kind as to take our viewers at home through the rosters for these teams tonight?
Absolutely. I believe we did have a bit of an issue there with some of the players not. I think it was one player wasn't able to join on the TUD side, but I'll go first for University of Limerick, and then we'll get into the TUD side. So we've got Sink, Han, Mitch, Zerlius, and Milk J on the University of Limerick side. And this is their first season, I believe, back. They took a season or two out last year, so hopefully some more new blood into ice. I know we've had a bit of an explosion, almost a doubling of teams competing in this season compared to last season. So it's nice to see another team taking part. And then on the TED side, we've got Ventake, No Fear, Flash, Cass, and Adam JC. So some veterans in that side, some tournament winners, definitely some of the best players in Ireland at the minute.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree. This could shape up to be one of the games of the tournament, and we're still only in the group stages for now. Obviously, if we look at the history of these two teams so far, TUD undefeated as expected. I'm not sure that's going to be a surprise to anybody. And over on the other side of things, UL have only dropped one game so far, so they've had a fantastic record throughout the start of this Irish Collegiate Esports split. But I think this is going to be the deciding game in the group. And TUD, I mean, just going through their roster, they're such an individually talented team who, if, you're coming into this as maybe a newer team, the amount of experience you're going to have playing together is never going to match up to this TUD roster. I mean, Ventake, Flash, No Fear, they've been the core part of this roster, plus I believe Extinct and the last player escaping me, Aract, I believe, have been, playing together for so long, not only at such a high level, but to also have that much experience playing with these guys, it gives them so much power over these newly formed rosters. And I'm sure the UL side have played together quite a bit. I'm sure they've got tons of experience on their own, and they're very skilled players individually. But will it be enough to actually take a series off this TUD team? That's what I want to find out.
Yeah, just when you're building up on that, going through the TUD roster, if you go on to Face It and you go to the rankings of the top players in Ireland, the top 100, top 50, you will see these names coming up in the list, just based on ELO alone. And obviously that's just a representation of their individual skills. Playing pugs wouldn't be as reflective as a team, but as you said, this team, their main sort of core is stuck around for so long that it really is such a great bit of wealth that you can add to a team. So it'll be tough for any team to come up against them, especially a new team like this. But maybe not as new as we might think.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll get a good result.
Yeah, I think so. I think we could be in for a banger. But with that said, I'm going to throw you under the bus a little bit, Ro, and I'm going to ask for maybe some predictions, and also what players are you going to be personally keeping an eye on in the server for this matchup?
Okay. Prediction, right? So first map is Inferno. I feel like this as a map, the second map is Mirage. I feel like this as a map is a bit more strategic based. Obviously, like it is at the same time a fairly puggy map, but compared to Mirage, this is more strategic. As a result, this might lend better to a team that has practiced a bit more. Obviously, TUD as well are just a sick team in general. So I'm going to give this first map to TUD. Second map, I think it might be a bit closer. Mirage is one of those picks that, everybody plays Mirage, regardless of if you play it as like part of a team or if you just play it in pugs and matchmaking. So, given that experience, UL might make it a bit closer, but I think this is a 2-0 for TUD.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to agree with you on that one, just on paper. However, I will give the benefit of the doubt to UL, because I think if you're coming into this match, this is probably going to be one of the most important matches you'll play all tournament. And if they can even take one map, bearing in mind this is a best of 2 system, so just picking up one map would secure them some points overall as well. If they can even pick up one map, even steal away the series from this TUD roster, this would put them in such a strong position going into the playoffs as we get towards the end of the split. And if I'm UL, if I'm kind of spitballing ideas before they go into this week of matches, I would have done my homework. If I'm on the TUD side, I would have been looking at all the demos that have been available to the captains. I'd be trying to figure out if there's any sort of weakness or chink in the armor from this TUD lineup, and that's what I'd be looking out for going into this series. I think the 2 maps that have been selected, Inferno, Mirage, they've been played to death. So it's not like one of these teams is going into Train or Vertigo or Nuke, something that they're not really comfortable on. And I think this is going to be a very, very close game, but we'll have to wait and see, because we're underway into the pistol round.
A very fast push here up to mid for University of Limerick, and the first frag will go the way of Adam, traded out there by MilkJ, and a second on the Cass in balcony there. The A site now given to University of Limerick, but they will be chased very quickly now by TUD. Flash, No Fear, both clearing the site here. Frag goes to Flash, traded out by Han yet again. 2 versus 3 now, make that a 2 versus 2. Vantake pops the head onto default. Now down to No Fear on a 1 versus 2, make it a 1v1. All down to No Fear versus MilkJ, and he will get the 3rd kill of the round. So that's a good way to start it out.
Big round from MilkJ. That was very, very close for comfort, but they got the bomb down, which is going to do wonders for the economy, and they picked up the round to finish it off as well. TUD, they were a little bit unlucky going into that retake. It looked like, from the minimap's perspective, Ro, that the UL esports roster, they were all cramped on that bomb site. They didn't really have time to set up a post plant. They couldn't get themselves into pit, and they did very, very well to hold their ground, but Ventake, oh, that's going to sting. They're not going to be able to retrieve that weapon. They have purchased heavily into this round, but Ventake just showing off his individual prowess, and we're only 2 rounds in, putting that scout to use.
Yeah, cheeky peek there from Vantake. Didn't get punished by the T side. We can see actually one Mac 10 purchased. I think Cinco bought it. Unfortunately, he was the one to perish. As a result, these close range duels might go the way of TUD, and we're going to see that. However, Han and MilkJ will take it back just a little bit, making it a 3 versus 2, but they're trapped now in Banana. Cass has them just at the bottom here, and it looks like they might just push on up.
It's all going to be about hitting these shots here as they both go into the bomb site. Look at the crossfire from TUD, and it's just shooting fish in a barrel. MilkJ, he does well to at least get 1, but that's a phenomenal round from TUD. On paper, they had absolutely no reason to win that, and they played the map to their advantage. They had the setup on Banana. I mean, the amount of kills that they picked up with those SMGs is also going to give them a fantastic economy going forward. They're not really missing a whole lot. Maybe, you know, Flash wants to get rid of that SMG in this round. No Fear is on a FAMAS, but apart from that, they've got full utility, they've got full armor, they've got Kevlar helmets, they've got even a defuse kit on 2 of their players. This is a scary prospect for UL because they're going to find it tough to get back into the early game of this map.
Yeah, definitely agree with you there. Very unfortunate that initial peak from Vantake. Really, the first nail in the coffin there for UL in that round, and as a result, an easy enough cleanup for the SMGs in that close quarter combat zone of Banana. And look at this again. Flash pushing up to the bottom of Banana. They're taking this Banana control, and with these P250s, Deagles, Tech 9, 1 scout on MilkJ, they haven't done a single bit of damage yet, and 50 seconds have just passed in the round. Great bit of control now from TUD.
Indeed, and I think this is maybe UL's tactic. They know that they're up against a phenomenal buy from TUD here. They're trying to burn out as much of that utility as possible, but when you come up against SMGs at that kind of close range, if you don't hit the initial headshot, it's very, very difficult to win the fight. And we're just going to see Flash run through now, and just about runs out of bullets before getting the 4K. Cass will clean it up, and that's going to be a second round in a row for TUD. Brilliant start for the CT side of Inferno. They're going to be able to repurchase here. They can even pick up an AWP if they want. They've got enough money to do so. I'm not sure if they want to bust that out yet, but UL Esports, I think they need to collect themselves now, Ro. I think they need to take a step back. They're going to be on another eco here. Figure out what they're going to do going into round number 5 and more or less write this round off as if this is just, you know, almost like a long pause where they get to kind of discuss what they're going to do when they can really take the fight to TUD. But it looks like that's what they're going to do here. Flash does get the first, and the rest of the UL team don't commit to the peak. They're going to allow the CTs to move back as No Fear and Flash pick up more, and it's, again, it's just so clinical from TUD. They looks like they were going to force that one forward with the pistols. They had gotten the close range fights, but just decided to back out at the last moment.
Yeah, around like that, you're just... even like that rush into Banana was completely thwarted by use of nades, and then one by one pushing in, not allowing for any trades for Limerick. But I would even just stay in T-spawn for a little bit, chat about what you're going to do in this round. You have the AK-47s coming out. No Fear, showing No Fear himself, pushes through the Molotov and the flashbang, gets one frag but traded out there. Cinco holding this angle, but he doesn't realize that Flash just decided to push through. That's so confident there from TUD. They're really showing no respect. And a second now for Flash.
Yeah, that's
that
tough.
is unfortunate.
Yeah, that's
if you're UL there, it's a bit of a bummer that you've bought up into this round. Let's go guys, let's get a few frags, and one guy with a FAMAS pushes down Banana, and then his teammate gets 2 frags as well. So not the greatest gun round there, but Mitch looks like he's just going to save, is he? Yeah, seems like it. Chilling down on this side of second middle. Maybe he might save an apps here.
It looks to be the plan. He's got the bomb on his back and a little bit of time. He's making an awful lot of noise though, and I think that's going to be his downfall here. Plenty of angles to check and not enough time to do it. And yet again, another round TUD keeping 3 players alive in and amongst all that chaos. And if we go back to the beginning of that round, Ro, I was just about to say how crucial that trade was from UL. Obviously, the first pick did go the way of the CTs, but instantly traded out from the bottom of Banana. And I thought, okay, this is a great opportunity for UL to reset the round, get some utility down, let TUD spread themselves a little bit more thinly, and the advantage will be in their favor as the T side, you'd think. But as we've seen, if Flash just pushes Banana on his own, gets 2 frags for free, I mean, what do you do against that? These are fundamentals that UL really, really need to get out of their system early on, because these rounds are going to slip away from them really, really quick if they don't.
Yeah, as you said, this Banana control, it's been routine now for TUD the past few rounds. Again, we'll see it here. Flash pushing into logs, No Fear holding the Banana position. I think if you're UL, you either need to make a choice here. You can't really do a half play. In that previous round, yeah, they got the first trade. However, they didn't have anyone set up for that second trade. I believe it was Cinco hidden in that little cubby, and he was just left for Flash to pick up. So if you're UL, either commit to taking top of Banana straight away, or show TUD some respect here, as it seems to be the case, and just let them take Banana. Hopefully try and aggress onto the A site, as we haven't seen much of that occurring. But as I speak, Milk J just going to run up on the long. No Fear gets the frag, but Han trades him out. Vantake now for 2 onto Han and Mitch. AK-47 still on Cinco. That up. Cass jumping onto the default box. Gets spotted. Cinco is in a bit of a precarious position here. Flash will catch Zerlius. That's just Cinco. I don't think he's long left for this world. Maybe he can save the AK. I don't think it's worth it though.
Wonderful shot by Cass to finish out the round, and crucial that he did as well. If that AWP was dropped, potentially not going to be brought forward by the CTs. A very heavy investment, but TUD make mincemeat of the round yet again. Wonderful stuff from the Dublin side so far. And we'll just take a quick look at the scoreboard now as well. Flash with 11 frags from that banana position. He has definitely been on form so far. UL, I mean, the frags are distributed, but at the same time, they haven't really gotten themselves past the mid-round stage so far. You know, at the beginning, they've looked good. They've been able to trade. They've been able to find those early picks. But it's small mistakes like this. Ventig shouldn't be able to just straight walk out and find a frag all on his own. And it's now on UL to capitalize on that. Milkshake is going to be good for one, but that's only it. Now we're down to a 3-on-3. This has been a very, very aggressive round so far, and Sync has to find that shot, and he does. This gives them access to the A bomb site, and they still have one defender in the form of No Fear. But is he going to be able to hold them off, Ro?
I don't think he will. He's going to have to wait for backup here. We can see Flash just shifting into apartments, but that is a long time to wait. The utility and the gunpowder isn't looking too good now for TUD. This might be the coveted gun round that UL might need to get their foot into that. But what damage on the hand there. I thought it was a dink, but No Fear will get that dink onto Zerlius, the pre-fire king it seems. And a second on the hand. No Fear traded out by the Glock, but I think Flash might just have it in time.
I actually can't believe it. I can't believe it.
Dearie, dearie me. I know the 5.7 is a decent little pistol, but that was cheeky.
Ro, I think it actually came down to the damage that was inflicted through that shot in the smoke. I think dropping down to 12 HP, and obviously when the CTs pushed in with the 5.7 out, it allowed him to get that one extra shot off, and then he got another kill.
Yeah. Because if you're retaking as a scout there, it's just not ideal. 5.7 on the other hand, a great close quarter combat pistol. Cinco down to 17 HP already. That is definitely not ideal. Trying for that banana aggression, but he's just been left alone by his teammates. And I think that's a familiar pattern that we've seen here for UL. Individual fights being taken without any trade setup, and it's costing them. Milk J with a jumping shot avoids the bullet of Ventic. He is now on the AWP. It's finally an op on each side, but Flash and No Fear really showing that they want this banana, and they will get it.
That seems to be par for the course for TUD as we go forward into round number 8. Just over 60 seconds left, and it is looking like another TUD round as they've established the man advantage. It's a 4-on-3 as we get into the nitty-gritty of round number 8. 6-1 is the current scoreline. TUD haven't really been tested in any major way. That retake scenario was something else to watch, but at the same time, more of a mistake from the UL side rather than anything else, I think, and the power of the 5.7 being shown off. I think, Ro, if we're looking at... Oh dear, like this is just all falling apart for UL. And only on a sliver of HP, and he'll go down, leaving 4 CTs alive as we get into round number 9. And Ro, I think at this point, if I'm on the UL side, I'm even maybe thinking about calling a timeout, because clearly the game that they're currently trying to play is just not working against TUD, and I think they vastly need to switch this up to have a chance on the T side.
Yeah, I mean, yet again, we're just seeing some mistakes, as I was saying, that lack of sort of setting up for trades, that lack of a coordinated push, some failed grenades there that cost 2 people their lives on Boiler. That smoke setup was a bit of a whiff. And again, the lack of banana control is dicey here for UL. Cinco does get 1 frag, and Mitch as well with the pistol, so somehow it is a 3 versus 3. Only 1 player in the form of Flash on long here, and he is feeling confident. Of course, he should be 15-5 here. Only 8-9 rounds in, and he's just shifting behind them. They're not even watching this. Oh dear. 1 frag, 2 frag. 3rd frag won't be coming his way just yet. Cinco on the top of Valk finally reveals his position. No Fear will fall as a result. 1 versus 2 on 23 HP, and Flash feeling as confident as he is. I don't think he stands much of a chance here. Flash comes in there from Ventic and the op shot to keep him distracted. That molly will surely flush him out. Takes a tick, but no damage dealt. And he's spotted by Ventic there. Getting a bit closer, and it was a bit dicey given it was a pistol, sort of a half-buy job there, but in the end, cleaned up there by TUD for their 8th round.
Yeah, and I think if the scoreboard was closer, that would have been a great round from UL because they inflicted a decent amount of economic damage. They put some pressure on TUD and they were able to get a foothold in the round, but not when it's 8-1. When it's 8-1, that's just an annoying round for TUD to have to play where, you know, you have to rebuy 1 or 2 rifles going forward. But in the grand scheme of things, they're not going to be worried about that too much. And as we say in the business row, there's only so many times you can, you know, go for a pistol buy where you can eco or you can try save weapons. At some point, you have to start putting rounds on the board. And as it stands, TUD have already won the half. Their job is over. Flash, that is absolutely disgusting. You can't do that. And they're going to go for more. Mitch just about takes him down before he can get a third. And he goes for another one, picking up No Fear in the process. The rotate is coming through very, very quickly. And UL looking hesitant to move forward. It's just everything is going wrong for the T side. Row, this is just so unfortunate. They've done everything right, but they still fail.
Yeah, Cardinal, I don't know, mate. It's maybe a bit of nerves coming out from UL here. They're playing against, you know, reigning champions, the big boys of the league. It just doesn't seem to be working too well for them in this game. They did almost like half try to switch something up there. They realized that they weren't getting banana control. Just as I say, that sync will call attack pause now. But yeah, there was a bit more banana control. I believe at one stage there were 4 or 5 people on banana there for University of Limerick, but 2 flashes, nades and molotovs being chucked over from the CT side was enough to slow them down and flush them out. And another round goes the way of TUD. As you're saying, I think this tack pause is well needed here, and hopefully they can think of something, as it isn't going too well for them.
Yeah, if we talk in terms of Inferno, it is classically considered a somewhat CT-sided map. It's pretty balanced, all things considered, but I think most people would be of the opinion that it's maybe slightly CT-sided, even as one of the most balanced maps in the current map pool. But given that UL are down 1-9 right now, if they can even pick up 3 to 4 rounds, they'll give themselves a chance to get settled on the CT side. But if we're looking at, you know, a 13-2 or a 14-1 scoreline going into the second half, even if they do figure out the CT side, even if they do get it on lock very, very early on, the odds that they flawlessly do what TUD have done here is just so slim with that amount of pressure on the team. I think they need those couple of rounds to give themselves a bit of a breather. It's looking like it's going to be more of the same from the CT side. Adam JC picking up 3 frags very early on, make that a 4th as they mop up the round, and that's double digits now for TUD as we get into the dying rounds of the half.
Apologies, I was muted there. Yeah, as I was saying before, I realized I had the mute key enabled. Apologies, but yeah, like 9-6, 10-5, that's kind of expected as a CT side, but to get 10 rounds now in a row with no reply, it's not good at all. Vantake will use that one-way smoke, although he doesn't even need it, gets that frag straight away onto Cinco. These frags just go in the way of TUD every time, getting those initial peaks and converting them into frags.
It's just so clinical. I mean, they've just played this to perfection. This is textbook how to do a solid CT side on Inferno. They've just made very minimal mistakes, and they've even pulled some rounds out of the bag that really they shouldn't have been able to pick up. Everyone on TUD is performing at such a high level right now. If you look at the scoreboard, I mean, Flash has 19 frags under his belt, Cass with only 8, but yet you would never say Cass is having a bad game. There just hasn't been players for him to shoot at, and that's no fault of his own. It's just a case that across the map, TUD are so strong. UL don't really have a weak point to exploit, so it's going to come down to their own individual skill and what they can bust out as a team. I think we could be looking at a very, very different scoreline if UL were able to clean up those fundamental mistakes early on, like not covering a push, allowing someone to peek mid for free, allowing someone to walk down banana for free, if they can clean up those small mistakes that they're making now, I think they'd be in a much better position overall in this map and the series.
Yeah, as you say, you know, it is just the little things that you need to get right. But unfortunately, sometimes the fundamentals are the hardest to get perfect. And Flash, yet again, 2 frags there. That banana control has just been so pivotal to winning these rounds. And as a result, you can see, as we just go back to the scoreboard there, but that, before I say that, Mitch almost getting 2 frags. But look at the number of deaths that Vantake has. Vantake's usually playing around the A long side with an AWP. We can see this time he just hasn't had much action, and when he has had the action, he's got the frags. That's all you need to do. So if I'm UL here, it isn't looking good at all. Money as well, not the greatest. You do have the max loss bonus, so that is at least one benefit that you can take into this the end of this half, and hopefully if you get 1 or 2 rounds on the board, that would make this game so much more bearable. But look at Flash.
I don't
Please
believe it.
don't. No. Oh dear.
He's going to get naded as well, as if it wasn't bad enough. Oh dear. And this is very worrying for me, watching this from an outsider's perspective. The fact that the remaining UL player wasn't even aware that someone from TUD was going to be that close, to me says there's communication issues. And it could be a case of these guys are just kind of starting to get checked out of Inferno, and you can only get battered for so long and maintain that positive mentality that they might be looking towards the next map now and just trying to play out the rest of this. You know, whatever happens, happens. But if they're not providing, you know, very simple information to their team, or if that communication process is just falling down, that's quite a worrying sign as a team, because even when you are under pressure and even when the game is not going your way, it's the things like communication and teamwork and spacing that will get you through these difficult rounds and get you through a hard map to give yourselves a chance. But if they're not even doing that much, then this is quite worrying. I'd like to see them switch it up a bit now, and they've gone to the correct site, they've made the correct call, but they are going to meet Ventake on the cross. Limited utility now as well. Only a frag grenade remaining. The flash will blind them, but they're not going to spot him out. That will at least get them the bomb down. They're going to spot Ventake as well, but oh no. Pan almost made an absolute mare of the spray, but just about gets Ventake down and brings it to a 1v2.
This could be the round here for University of Limerick. Not if Adam has a say in it though. That 1 frag on the Han, the most important frag in this round, as MilkJ is just on 11 HP. Unfortunately for Adam, he hasn't cleared him out just yet. He's in second oranges, and it doesn't look like he even knows about it. MilkJ putting the second round on the board now for University of Limerick. Again, it was a dicey one. At one stage, I believe we had Han waiting in T-spawn for that eventual banana push, which kind of sets the picture for how bad it is going on the T side here. But, you know, they got around, got to hand it to them.
They did indeed.
With
and
limited utility as well, I must say. 1 flashbang for the cross, just enough to put Ventake off from peeking. However, it won't stop him this time, as MilkJ will fall to his AWP, and he's even going to run into Boiler there. Very, very aggressive, and why wouldn't you be?
No, not when you're playing at this pace. Ventake will take those frags every day of the week, but I totally agree, Ro. That was a fantastic round for them to pick up. It is only their second, but if we can see more of that from UL, they've got the man advantage in this round. They're not out of this one yet, and with each passing second, they're going to split up this CT forces even more. They've got the round in their hands now. It's there to throw away, but the only thing was, yes, they did pick up the round. It came down to the wire, and there is a reality where Adam does actually win that 1v2, but for now, UL, they need to keep up this pace. They need to keep this momentum.
Oh, dearie me, not again.
Oh,
1 frag,
dear.
almost the second knife kill. That is crazy. A bit of timing, I believe. Sync walked through the smoke at the same time that it was the knife kill, but as a result, he will get 2 frags because of it. So the embarrassment of the knife kill traded out by the fact that your teammate was able to flank and get 2 frags. I don't know. I think it worked out in the end. They got their third round. So
Yeah.
if you're University of Limerick here, 2 rounds on the board. Like I would say I'm the optimist. I always like, right, guys, we got a round. Let's go get a second. Let's get a third, and they've got 3. Win pistol round, potentially 12-6. Then it's just a matter of just really fighting your way to the finish line here. So who knows? I'm holding out. I'm holding out. UL did win the previous pistol round, so maybe they've got something up their sleeve for the CT side as well.
Yeah, there's signs of life in this UL roster still, even though the scoreline was looking very, very grim for such a long time. We've seen moments of magic from them, and yes, they did get knifed twice in the half, but at the same time, now is when you got to take these round by round. You don't let it get to your head that, okay, we are down 12-3. The timing is not going to be quite there for Sync. He was almost on, and more frags rain in now from the T side. Zerlius is going to try and hold them back, but such a difficult position to fight from when he can't peek out. He doesn't have the support of his teammates yet, and Flash, he's just absolutely obliterated MilkJ, and he wants more. Taking on Han, he'll find the frag. Flash closes it out. That's a very worrying sign for UL Esports. That was a must-win round for them. And TUD were just all over the site. They did what UL wanted to do in the first pistol round. They got the bomb down on the A side, and they had time to establish control. And meanwhile, the CTs now are in a very precarious position.
Yeah, just look at that scoreboard. Flash 26-8, make it 27, make it 28. He doesn't care. He just runs out. That's a USP he's kept from the previous round. He doesn't need a rifle. He doesn't need an SMG. It's like when you're playing against a player like that. Oh, Cinco as well. Unlucky. When you're playing against a player that's feeling that confident, what can you do? Unfortunate there. I'm just going back to the pistol round. Cinco pushed through that smoke on middle.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate with the timing not to get, I believe it was Vantake, as he would have heard the steps going into apps. So that should have been a call. Rotate a bit quicker, guys. Like he's heard 4 steps, then he hears the jump through. That's base. I mean, maybe there might be one on banana, but like to me, it's fairly obvious it's going to be an A hit there. So again, as you mentioned a few rounds prior, communication issues like that, just knowing where players could be on the other side, just doesn't seem to be communicated. As Cass on the other side just decides to give his teammate a little love tap. Vantake taking 8 damage from the Bison, and he will stay alive, but No Fear on the other hand falls to Cinco. So it's the man advantage here for University of Limerick. They also do have the better guns. MilkJ and Han doing big damage here, but unfortunately Flash gets 2 frags out of almost nothing there. His teammates, Vantake, lucky to survive, and Flash, the man with No Fear, and that's without having No Fear alive at the minute. 30-9, absolutely crazy, and he has the audacity to hold basically 2 angles at once.
Yeah,
no one can stop this man.
These guys, they just don't care at this point. They know the map is in their hands. And I don't think, if trends are to be believed, I don't think they're going to throw this one away. Well, Cass with the PP Bison will do his best to put on a show for everybody watching at home. And now Sync wants to have a go. It looks like he's just going to hold down Mouse 1, and there you go. He's just found both kills. Do they have the time for the defuse? It looks like they will. And from the ashes, UL do pull a 4th round out of the bag, and they'll also bring 2 AKs forward. Now, just looking at the economy for both teams, TUD will be able to purchase into this one. They've got the cheaper buy anyway, but UL have an opportunity here. They have a chance to stifle this T-side momentum. Will they be up for the task, though? That's the real question in everyone's mind.
Yeah, again, a round on the board for University of Limerick at this stage is a round on the board that they'll be more than happy to take, but those final frags, jumping around corners with a PP Bison, doesn't really bode well for how you're winning these rounds. We can see here, money not looking the great.
What's going on, Ro?
Are you
What's
kidding
happening?
me, Flash? Please stop. And he just, like, Mr. Confidence walks out again with the AK. Doesn't win that aim duel, unfortunately, this time, but like, he literally, you just can't stop him. He's like a snowball running down Mount Everest. completely snowballing, getting bigger every time until he knifes somebody for the 5th round, maybe in the next round. 5th time in the next round, I should say. No Fear now in a 1 versus 2. I would honestly fancy No Fear in this. He's able to isolate the angles, and he spots Milkshade with AWP in arches here. Steps coming from short. It is Han, No Fear, running to take that duel, but he won't win it. Better from University of Limerick.
Much better. Much, much better. And I was in the same boat as you, Ro. I was worried about that round. You put No Fear into a 1v2, and I think odds are on for him to win it once he's got the bomb down. He didn't have much util to play around with, but at the same time, his raw skill and just the fact that this is something you've mentioned already. These guys are just playing so confidently. Flash has 32 frags in 19 full rounds. That's absolutely absurd numbers from the TUD player. There's only so far skill can get you. When you're that confident, you're just going to demotivate and demoralize the entire opposition all on your own. And it's really tough to get back into games like this. Just when players are running through smokes, they're playing so chaotically. You don't know what they're going to do. These TUD players just seem to be everywhere. It looks like they have a 6th player on the server. That's how strong they're looking right now.
Yeah, definitely agreed with you on that 6th player point. This round doesn't seem like the 6th player showed up, but of course, money not the greatest for TUD, so this should be, all being well, another round on the board here for the University of Limerick. And if we just take a look at the scoreboard, as you're saying, 32 and 12 now. Flashes. His closest teammate is, just as we see Han getting 2 nice frags there, his closest teammate is Adam in 16 and 11. So we were talking about who we should. I actually don't think I answered your question there at the start when you're asking who's a player to watch out for. Well, I think we know there's one outstanding player in this server at the minute, and even if he was playing sort of in line with the rest of his teammates here, if he had maybe 16, 15 frags, this has been TUD's game. They haven't fallen out of control of this game at all.
No, not quite yet, but look at this. Sync with a big swing and catches Adam JC with his pants down. That's a big frag to find early on, and what a response from Cass, taking Zerlius down now, hunting for more. TUD have been activated, and they're going to move very quickly towards the A site, knowing there is going to be one in pit. Look at the flashbang. Look at the coordination from No Fear as he swings around. Full confidence in his teammate to get that flash off to keep him safe. Perfect smoke down. The bomb is going to go down, and now Sync is going to be first contact. Flash has his number though. Beautiful deagle headshot. And now a 4-on-2 momentum has swung back in favor of TUD, and this should be their round unless we see something special from Milkshade and Han.
Oh, we can see Flash was wanting another knife frag. I think Milkshade as well was also wanting a little knife trade off there, but no knives traded in this round at least. 360 no scoops from Flash. Okay, I stand corrected. Great.
Oh dear, this must be a record for the most knife kills in an ice game. I'm actually just in shock. I have no words for the absolute scenes going on in the server.
You know, you try to say something, you try to be positive, and then boom, knife, boom, knife. Look, it is what it is here. Money decent enough here for University of Limerick. They can buy into this. I mean, they have to buy into this, but an AWP for Han could be all that makes a difference. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the positioning to go for an aggressive banana peek, and they will give up banana. But just on that previous note, when you were talking about that coordination, getting onto the A site, it just looks so easy. As I say that, Zerlius and Mitch getting frags on the board on the A side. However, that draws the rotation off, as it's just one to defend now. Han with the AWP and Coffins, and he's been smoked and Molotov'd out. I honestly, from what we've seen from TUD here, the coordination, I wouldn't be surprised if they win this 2 versus 4. Isolate the players,
yeah.
Even make it a 2 versus 2, and I would fancy them to win both aim duels here.
It's going to be down to the trades.
Here we go, Flash with the AWP up close, misses that no-scope, and unfortunately Adam's only good for 1. The trades don't go their way in this round, and that is another round on the board now for the University of Limerick. Almost on their way to double digits, who knows? We could be lucky.
We could, and I kind of predicted that we would see something like this happen on the CT side, and the problem is, because TUD are on map point, the amount of mistakes UL can make are just non-existent. They have to play flawlessly for the rest of this half, just for the chance to force overtime, and that's against a regular team. This would be a tall order to ask, but against TUD, we've seen how quickly they can turn it up to 11, and all of a sudden the round is just done and dusted, and this could be exactly what happens here. Walking into the firing line is Sync, and he's good for 3 before he gets taken down. A little bit of a help from Flash, as there was not much space for the TUD side to find any sort of room to get out there from Banana, but Flash will open up the site with a second frag of his own. Man advantage for UL Esports, but tall order now that the bomb has gone down. The rotate's coming in slowly again, as still Xerlius is only making his way across now. That kill will do a huge amount to get them back in the round row, but No Fear is still alive, and anything can happen.
Yeah, No Fear, full HP, does have the Molotov to sort of delay any push, and a flashbang goes through as well. He catches this one player, Milk, with that AWP. Unfortunately, really unlucky there with that timing. And they have a kit, so that will be the bomb defusal. But these retakes that we have seen from University of Limerick, they've been very disjointed. You know, Mitch pushing into ruins there by himself, didn't wait on his teammates at all, no utility used. Fortunately for him, he does win that aim duel, but you can't count on that every single time. You need your teammates out there for that trade. Goes their way this time. The money again now for TUD. They can, I mean, they've bought Deagles and AKs. I still wouldn't put them out of this round, but hopefully University of Limerick can sort of gain a little bit of control. But it could be a similar hit onto the A bomb site that we had, I believe, 2 rounds prior.
Yeah, it seems to be the case so far. Look at the minimap here, just a full swarm of TUD players now pushing out, and there's too many angles for Xerlius to cover. This could all fall apart very quickly. It's all gonna be on Sync, and Mitch, who's been spotted out. Oh, disaster for the CT side. UL, this might be their swan song round, as still they have a player holding the B site. The bomb has already been planted, and only now the rotate is coming in. This is going to make the retake just that bit more difficult. Good nade damage onto Adam JC, but nades not going to find any kills for now, as TUD still up 1 man with the bomb down. UL Esports, they've had their hand forced in this round, and it's going to be a very tall order to get back into this one. Adam JC is in perfect position to take this fight against both, and AWP as well. A double AWP retake. This is not what you want to see. No scope from Sync, but now he's all on his own. 1v3, the bomb is ticking down, and oh, he's going to land the shot. Is he going to land another one? Not quite. He throws it all away. He knows it's done and dusted. A valiant attempt, but TUD will take the round and the map. Bro, that was something else. I thought we were going to be in for a potential 16-1, 16-2 map, but there are signs of life in this UL squad.
Yeah, I mean, CT side, obviously this map is a little bit more CT sided, and that sort of lends to maybe a team that mightn't be as good firepower wise, being able to win frags on the basis of spawns, on the basis of map control, and we saw University of Limerick doing that. But yet again, even in that previous round there, just a lack of coordination. Player there out in short, watching Apps whenever he has a teammate on the balcony. He would either have to fall back on the A site, hold his ground on short perhaps, and he just decides to hold Apps, and of course he gets rushed in short. So look, there is promise here for University of Limerick. They've got 8 rounds on a map that might be a little bit more technical. If this map, Mirage, is going to be a bit more puggy, this might land into their playstyle a little bit better. We could see double digits. We might see an upset, who knows?
We might, and with this map starting, UL will have the chance to start out on the CT side. This is TUD's map pick, which is a scary prospect in its own right, but UL have a chance now to settle down, sort their heads out after that game, look back on what worked and what didn't work, and go into Mirage with a fresh mindset. But for all our viewers at home, we're going to be taking a very quick break to let our players get set up for map number 2, and we'll be back before you know it.
Perfect. Welcome back, everybody, to our second game of this evening. It is TUD Apes versus University of Limerick Esports. Joined this evening by Cardinal. How are you getting on?
Not too bad. Now, we've had a little bit of time to digest the last map, and I think this is going to be an interesting map to watch how UL approach the first couple of rounds row. They definitely showed signs of life going into Inferno. It wasn't a walk in the park, let's just say that. I think we'll not, bang on about it too much. It was a pretty grim map if you were on the UL Esports side. They did bring it back quite a bit, but not enough. And that's what I want to see going forward now as we get into map number 2. I am really, really interested to see how they play on this CT side. Will they still have that nerves? Will they still have the problems from earlier on? Or will they be a little bit more settled now? They can play on the easier side of Mirage, starting things off, and really put up a fight against this TUD roster. That's what I'm going to be looking out for.
Yeah, fingers crossed. We can see. I don't know if you may have that disabled, but I just got a nice lung full of cast there. But yeah, let's see. T side.
That was something.
Yeah, that was something. A war cry, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe bad sign for UL.
We can see it's just going to be an A take here now for TUD, and it looked like UL might have just been expecting that classic B hit. As I say that, Zerlius with the first and the second frag on the flash. Bomb will go down, however, Ventic the one to do that. On default here as Cast in the CT smoke, watching for anybody pushing. Not going to find anyone just yet. Will swing with Milk J on that frag. Looks like it's an easy retake here for University of Limerick. Ventic, the only one to get one frag in this round for TUD. Milk to get his second. So a good way, just like the previous game, to open this game with the pistol round win.
Yeah, that's a big round for UL, and I think that's going to calm the nerves quite a bit as well. You know, they're going to be able to sit back now and say, we held on against the very aggressive push from TUD. These guys on the T side, they're more than confident of hitting shots with the Glock. They're not going to have anything major set up with smokes and flashes and util for the pistol. They're just going to run straight at you because they know on paper they should be able to win the 1v1 fight. So that's a brilliant sign from UL that they were able to win that one out.
Yeah, and I would just put an air on the side of caution here. If you are UL, you know, like the previous game, losing that second round was sort of a bit of an explainer for what was soon to happen thereafter. But in this round, looks like it is going the way of TUD, or not TUD, my apologies, University of Limerick. However, Han on 11 HP might be the first sort of domino to fall. Zerlius on 32, but look at this, he doesn't care, he's still standing on top of the tickets, but Flash with that deagle, good enough with the body shot to get one frag, and now this looks fairly doable here. If he wins this next, aim duel onto Han, who's just sitting out in CT, the timing favours him, and that's a headshot there for Flash, as it's just Mitch left now for University of Limerick. Bomb will go down on default, and he doesn't even realise it. What is Mitch looking at? Finally realizes where it's coming from, and the dink through the wall. Flash wins that 1 versus 3.
That's absurd. That's absolutely absurd. Flash, how does he get away with that? Just crisp, clean locks with the deagle in hand. That's all he needed. He didn't even take out the SMG at all. He was totally confident in his ability to land those shots. And that's quite worrying from the side of UL, because they had the 1v2 and they didn't put themselves in a position to be able to trade those frags. They looked quite scared almost to take the fight against him, whereas if they just stuck together, traded the kills, everything would have, in theory, gone a lot smoother, but obviously that's not the case, and these things from our perspective can look very, very easy to correct, but not so much when you're in the server. Han forced all the way back into CT spawn, but he does find Cass with the headshot with the Desert Eagle. Mitch now coming in with the Deagle as well. Flash has died to fall damage, I want to say. I didn't quite catch that, but a little bit grim.
He pushed the Molotov in CT as he was taking damage there from Han, so unfortunate for him. Doesn't get... I don't think he won't get money this round, I believe, as a result of that. As just Mitch now with the Deagle. And look how how slowly they're taking this. Ventake waiting for his teammate to clear the angle for him before he jumps out. That's the sort of team play you want to see. Oh, no fear.
Oh, he was going
No
for it.
fear. Oh no, showing us from the previous game. Oh, unlucky there as well not to get Ventake. We've seen a few knife. Well, I say a few. It's been what, maybe 5 in the previous game.
Yeah.
TD not afraid to bring out the old shank. So, and Flash, the star player from that previous game as well, coming up big in that 1 versus 3 from the last round. So this is all to play for now. The gun's coming out for TUD yet again. Only a deagle on Han, and as I say that, he gets that 1D gun to Adam. The remainder of his players pushing up on the middle. Cass getting 2 frags there onto Zerlius and MilkJ. Mitch now recovers that deagle. And this should be an easy round here for TUD. Unless Mitch brings something out of the bag. This angle should surely get cleared. If not, by No Fear, by Cass, by Flash, and it's just Cinco hiding.
No. Oh, he's been spotted by
dear.
Cass. No, it was looking so good. It was looking so good. Ventake didn't realize how close he was to death, but gets to hold on to the AWP anyway. And TUD running rampant at the start of the map again. It looked so good, Ro. After that pistol, I thought this is it. UL are going to settle into the round now, but clearly TUD have other plans.
Yeah, it seems to be a sort of a story that we see from Cinco here. He likes playing in these sneaky spots. I've seen him holding the Zeus out a few times. He likes pushing through smokes. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be working for him too well. So maybe that's a sign to hold off on that. I mean, in that round it is an eco round. He had a USP, but it might just be his play style to sort of play in and around these smokes. Oh dear, Flash rips his head off there. That AWP now for University of Limerick out of the round. And that is a 4 versus 5 now for University of Limerick, which we really don't want to have. Flash again. Flash. He doesn't care. He just doesn't care.
What
you might
is
as well
happening?
Just forget about observing here. You might as well just watch Flash, because he's just going to be he's going to be everywhere anyway.
He's
so
gotten another one. Like, this is unreal. I mean, you can't take anything from UL here. They're playing well. They've got their positions sorted out. You know, they clearly have a plan for Mirage. But when Flash is playing like he is, there's just no stopping him. You know he's coming, and you're still not going to be able to stop him. That's worrying. That's what I don't like to see when I'm on the receiving end of it, so I can only imagine how UL feel.
Yeah, Flash, he really is the X factor in this game, as he was. Well, he's proving to be the X factor in this game, as he was in the previous game. I keep saying he has no fear, but it is true. He does have no fear, and TUD also have no fear. So nice little duo there. No Fear has also been playing quite well. Zerlius taking down Adam JC there. Cinco we saw just yet again with that Zeus playing up close. I feel like he's playing in angles that are a little bit too. They give the player that's pushing just a bit too much wiggle room.
Yeah.
So they can play a bit further back and not get. Oh, nice headshot there from Flash. Not get that damage from the Zeus. So, oh no, Flash. Okay. Anytime I see him with his knife out, it just scares me, I'm not going to lie.
He was thinking about it.
Yeah. 1 minute left. Bomb is in T-spawn. This unfortunate timing there from Flash, but this is a round surely now for TUD yet again. No armor on the side of University of Limerick, just the Deagles, but we've seen stranger things happen.
We have, especially when the pistols are in play. They're just so unpredictable. And I almost feel like players have a different mindset once they've got a pistol in their hands. You know, it's like they lose all sense of fear in their body. They're just willing to take these outrageous fights. And MilkJ has found himself an AWP, courtesy of Ventake, I believe, from earlier in the round. Oh, but there's 2 players staring right at him. If he had the 1v1, maybe he has a chance. But unfortunately, the timing not quite there for MilkJ. And that'll be another round for TUD. But considering what UL purchased into that one row, they didn't have much going into that round. And they made it very close.
Yeah, not bad at all, I must say. Like that, it was brought down to a 2 versus 2, 1 versus 2 in the end. I feel like if you are I believe it was Milk J picked up that AWP. If you're Milk J in that round, you might just want to save it in that 1 versus 2. Allow yourself to get some more utility. As we can see, no Molotovs remaining on the CT side, and that could prove big for a late round push. Flash and his teammate Ventic throwing some smokes onto A. Looks like it's going to be another A split here. Cass on connector here with No Fear, picking the SG553. I haven't seen this gun used in a while. Maybe that's a sign of what's to come. 2 versus 5, however, as the trades have, well, there haven't been any trades. The frags have just been going the way of University of Limerick here. As I say that, Cass to get the first, traded out by Cinco on the AWP. He's put in work with that up, and it's just No Fear. He hears the scopes, he sees the jump. Unfortunate not to get the frag here, and Cinco dropping his AWP to get that AK-47 frag and then picking it right back up. So a double up setup seems to have shut down any sort of aggressive plays there from TUD.
Yeah.
And nice to see another round on the board there for Limerick.
Yeah, Cinco took that fight very early on in mid against Ventic, I believe, and he won it out. And just no fear whatsoever, just brought straight out towards mid. And that's a really, really good sign. Now we're seeing a bit of a switch up from TUD as they go towards apps. Molotov will slow them down, but it looks like, yeah, they're just going to smoke that. They're going to keep pushing. Ventic, he's going to be first contact now as Adam pops out. Ventic finds one, and No Fear also picking up another one. This man just can't be stopped. Adam is in the advanced position for one. Is he good for more? Yes, he is. Will he go for the third? He's going to find it and shut the round down in the blink of an eye. You could have missed it, Ro. I was almost about to praise UL. I was almost about to say, where was that UL team for the rest of Inferno after that wonderful round from them? And TUD switch it up just like that, and the round goes in their favor. Clean sweep. That's just so hard to deal with when you're already on the back foot. Adam walking straight out. Oh, he's been totally blinded. And the AWP swinging out. I believe it was Sink. He does find one. Only able to find one. Zerlius now from Dark has dropped the bomb right into his pouch. Ventic, he's going to spray him down and find the frag, leaving just Adam and Ventic to hold on to this round. They don't have the man advantage. It's going to be tough. They have to get this bomb down, and then it will be their round to win. Ventic also finding Mitch in and amongst all that chaos, leaving just Han and Milk J alive.
Ventic, one of the big players here for TUD, showing why he is so prominent. Getting that 4th frag of the round. This is the ace for him to win a 2 versus 5, I believe. Unfortunately, Han just has enough HP to close out the round, but at this stage, it's just a TUD rush B, TUD rush A, and this time it worked out in favour of University of Limerick, but it's just too close. I think they may have set up for that A push or that A split that TUD had been doing for a while. As a result, they got caught off guard with that B rush. The Molotovs and smokes were good to just stop them for like half a second, but there wasn't any adjustment. They were just holding the same angles. And if 5 T players are going to come out onto Van, onto Short, I mean, it's only a matter of time before they're going to get control of the site. Again, they tried the same idea on the A side. Unfortunately for TUD, it didn't work as well, but the damage to the economy was done. No Fear, showing No Fear. I'm pretty sure I've said that before, and it's, I mean, he just does that, so of course he would. Another few frags here, just walking out onto the A site. Maybe one flashbang or 2, and that's all they need for the entries. Now onto a 2 versus 3. Make it a 1 versus 3 now. Just Cinco with an AWP. And this might be another save now.
Looks to be the case. Sink has a very, very expensive gun to lose, especially in a 1-on-3. If it was even a 1-on-2, maybe a 1v1, if he wasn't 100% certain that the TUD squad didn't know where he was, he could potentially have that element of surprise, go for the 1v2, go for the 1v1, but with the AWP in his hands, I don't think this is too viable. No 5-7 this time, so we're not going to see any shenanigans like we did on Inferno. And at this point, I'm worried that Sink is not even going to be able to hold on to the AWP. There it is. There's the shot. Another one coming. The knife out from Flash. Oh dear.
No.
Oh, not like this. No. Not like this. I can't believe it.
Oh, are you kidding me?
I'm getting flashbacks of Inferno.
Not like this. Not like this, indeed. Yeah, I mean, Cinco, unfortunate there. I think he might have got a little bit nervous when he heard those steps coming up yet again from underpass. Misses that first frag, and that really cost him his life. The knife comes in, and from an economical point of view, if you look at the money here for TUD, it's still not the greatest, but Flash, that knife kill is giving him enough money to buy into the next round, even if they lose. Looks like they won't need it though. Walking up on the short, no smokes or anything, just taking raw aim duels. Mitch, however, shuts No Fear down, but Flash, on a roll, gets another frag onto Han playing on bench. Just Mitch now jumping around on the B side. He isn't long left for this world, I would say. Just doing enough right now, but the Molotov is good enough to flush him out, but they don't check it. Cass is quick enough on the flick. This Flash sort of messed up the spray there. Now just Cinco with that infamous Zeus, I would say. I don't think he's got a frag with it just yet. And Zerlius with the Deagle, unable to rattle off any headshots. Just playing for exits at this stage. And it doesn't look like they'll get any Flash on 4 HP.
Oh!
He might need to make... Oh! Okay.
So, no. I saw it come out. I saw the Zeus, but Ventic was having absolutely none of it. And at that range, you'd fancy the op to hit the no-scope. That seems to be the case. And it's 8-3. We're approaching the half-time mark. And Ro, again, I feel like I'm just, you know, beating a dead horse at this point. I think there is brilliant potential from this UL squad. And if they were up against any other team in this tournament, I'm sure they'd have a much more even scoreline. But it's just these small mistakes that they're making won't get punished by other teams, but they absolutely will get punished by TUD.
Yeah, I mean, as we say this, like, UL, they've won this round. It's just been that fast A take for TUD that hasn't worked in their favour, but you can't be banking on teams to be doing this the whole time. Ventic falls privy of that fake flash. MilkJ will close them out, so that's a 4th round, but you really need more on a CT side here. It's just, I kind of sound like a broken record on, you know, we're talking about lack of communication, you know, retakes not going their way, holds not going their way with positioning and stuff like that. And it really is repeating itself from the Inferno game. Thankfully, I was talking about maybe a few more rounds on the board for University of Limerick on Mirage, and it seems to be the case, as it's just another B rush here. Ventic the first to charge, pre-fires the wrong angle, but it doesn't matter. He snaps onto the head of Han, and we can spot Mitch again. Ventic just look at his crosshair here. He's flicking. You can tell he's gripping the mouse so hard that his crosshair is shaking that much, and as a result, he gets 3 frags.
Yeah, I think he'll take those, shaky crosshair or not. Now, they're just about to run MilkJ down. Tech9 is all that was required. Cass had a Negev, I believe. If I saw that correctly, he ditched it right at the end of the round for an op, which is a pretty decent trade, all things considered. And with that said, now TUD on the cusp of a 10th round just before half-time as well. They're showing no signs of stopping, and even when you think you've gotten a foothold into the game, they just rip it from underneath you, and this seems to be a very, very common ordeal from the TUD team as they take on everybody in this tournament. They're just going to execute the exact same way again. Look at Ventig. He's cleared practically the whole site by himself, and Sync shuts him down with the pistol, but now the rotate needs to come through, and it needs to come through quickly. Flash and Cass now left in the 2v2. Zerlius has got an SMG, but his teammate MilkJ with just the pistol in hand, and it's not going to be looking great. The spacing from TUD in particular, whenever they are in these 2v1, 3v1 scenarios, they leave nothing to chance. You always see the entire team swing at the exact same time. We saw earlier on the A-bomb side, I believe it was MilkJ with an AWP. As soon as he peeked out, he had 2 players staring him down, and that's so hard to play against, especially when you're on the back foot, especially when you're trying to find any sort of mistake to get you into the game. TUD are just such an entertaining team to watch, even if they are so dominant.
Yeah, it's that no respect play that you see, you know, rushing B 2 or 3 times in a row and still winning. You know, at that stage, if you're University of Limerick, you're thinking, okay, right, it's another B rush. Let's maybe put a bit more aggression onto the B side. Maybe do something on mid if they're not going to hold their flanks. unfortunately, in this round, it's not going to be the B rush. It will be an A take, and it is a 4 versus 4. So you really would fancy TUD in this one. Smokes are just beginning to fade, and Milk J does get that frag on the van take. Very important one on the second
Ooh.
trade. The flashes are coming in as well. Full blind still gets the frag on the flash. Cass with that AWP and ramp looking good there. Gets that first onto Han. Holds off, gets the second on the Milk. Azurlius here coming in close. Are the reactions quick enough? No. Just Adam now isolates that 1 versus 1, but it isn't enough. The damage wasn't good enough. 28 HP brought Mitch down to. Can they find the bomb? They do eventually on the reverse side of default, and that'll be round number 5 and the end of the first half there. We take those if you're University of Limerick. No rounds chained, but more rounds than the previous game, so
Yeah.
who knows?
I think
around. Yeah, I'm still optimistic.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to be, and it's going to be an uphill battle. They are obviously down rounds, and that's a phenomenal T-side from TUD on a map like Mirage, where you can rotate very, very quickly. Locking down the midsection of the map is so important as a CT to be able to control the flow of each round. But at this point, I think if we go back to the very early predictions that we made, Ro, you know, we both had TUD down to win this series 2-0, and I do still think that's most likely to happen. But the fact that UL can even make this somewhat competitive is a great sign. Whether or not they'll be able to topple TUD on Mirage is another maybe argument altogether. But to put it into context for our viewers at home, and we just spoke about this in the break we had between maps, is that teams that come up against TUD, maybe lesser skilled teams, struggle to even put 5 rounds on the board. So the fact that UL have done this and they've even taken it further on Inferno, that is a great sign, all things considered. You know, we'd all love to win each and every map that we play on, but when you're up against the best of the best, making the most out of it and learning something in the process is absolutely crucial.
Yeah, I agree, Cardinal. That actually is a good way of looking at it. You know, this is obviously TUD reigning champions. They're one of the greatest teams that has played in ice. I would use this as a learning experience. If you're University of Limerick, don't go into this thinking, "Oh, we should have won that. We should have won this." You know, just think of it as a scrim. You know, you're just trying strats out. If they don't work, you know, don't worry about it. You can build upon it, and that's really how you should be taking it. An A stack for TUD, however, will allow the bomb to go down onto the B site, but Ventic the first to get the frag under this round. Sync now to trade them out. Han with the Glock as well, and Sync on his second, but Ventic gets a second of his own, and the 1 dig for Milk, followed up by that frag for Mitch, will be the round now for University of Limerick.
That was
I wonder if that tack pause was maybe a setup for this round specifically, just to sort of get everybody on the same playing field with regards to what they were doing.
I think you could be right.
Yeah, I think it worked out for them.
Definitely did. They pick up another round on the board, and if we go back to the last round, looking at the minimap, they had a 50-50 chance to get it right. The TUD side decided not to put anyone towards B at all, expecting the A push, which I'd say is pretty common on Mirage T-side pistols, just to bomb it out through Palace, out through T-ramp. But in this case, it worked out perfectly for UL. They got the bomb down, and they had that little bit of extra time to be able to set up for the post plant, and that went in their favor. Will they be able to do the same here now as they're walking into the meat grinder? I'm not sure they realize it. Ventake with his knife out, expecting a push onto stairs. Sync, oh, he's dancing around the edge of the smoke. Is he gonna spot him out? Ventake, no, he will not. He's gonna drop down. The damage is coming in from all around. Sync and Zirlius activated now, holding onto this site, leaving Cass on his own with a shotgun. And this is going to be... Oh, dear, he's actually dinked Sync. How has he done that?
It's doable.
These are all quite low. Against the Mag 7, there's the first. They haven't gotten the bomb down. If he plays this well, Cass, what's he about to do here?
No.
He's just dropped the bomb, but no. Zirlius stopped the mania right in its tracks. I was starting to sweat in that round. That was something else.
Yeah, I think mania is the right way to put it there. Just when you were talking about, you know, it was nice for UL to get that sort of clean entry onto the B site and set up for the post plants. You're not going to get an empty site to walk on all the time. And if you're struggling, like that was brought down to a 1 versus 1 on like 10 HP. If you're struggling to get it into those situations on a fairly poor buy for the CT side, this isn't looking too well. So if you're University of Limerick, you know, every round you got to think, right, for entering onto this site, we have to make sure, you know, we clear the angles first off. I know it sounds fairly fundamental, but as we've seen, it hasn't worked out for them in previous rounds. So, you know, clear out all the angles, get your post plants set up, and hope you can win these MGs whenever the CTs come around. And looks like in this round as well, unless Vantake and Cass can work some magic, which I wouldn't be surprised about, as Cass tags down Milk there to 29, but he's tagged down to 22 himself. Just Vantake now with the Deagle, and he won't get anything done. So a 2-round deficit now. If you're University of Limerick, I think you should be very happy that you got 8 rounds here against TUD, but at the same time, if you're thinking about how TUD have been playing, is it really like a team that have been really set up for like proper tryharding? You know, they've won so many rounds on the boards. It seems like maybe a bit of complacency is set in, and hopefully, well, I would assume that TUD have the experience to sort of go, all right, lads, we're giving these fellas a bit too much room here, and with the guns coming in, that should be the punisher then.
Yeah, I think you've put it absolutely perfectly. TUD may have taken their foot off the gas just a little bit, but as that round differential starts to close up and UL get ever closer to evening the scoreline, I think you'll see TUD start to step it up again. They've proven that they can switch up their play very, very quickly, and most importantly, keep that level of consistency among the team. Like Adam, he's going to get forced out here now, but Mitch, just about gets bailed out by Zirlius and Milkjay. Everybody from UL Esports on the ball here in this round. No fear, last man standing is going to walk through the Molotov. Surely that's been heard. And it looks like it hasn't. He's only on 90 HP, so he has taken tick damage, but it looks like they may have just missed him. Zirlius not going to miss that headshot, however. And now UL, for the first time in this series, have brought it back to within 1 round from TUD Apes. This is a fantastic showing on the T side of Mirage.
Yeah, as you were saying, this is quite good here for University of Limerick. That round, very pivotal round to win. They put TUD yet again on the back foot. Pistols, MP9. It is dicey if an A stack, as we can see, is going to happen. That AWP Cinco might have to fall off fairly soon. Only good for 1 frag, as Flash will pick that up. However, they're barreling now onto the B site. Will they be aware of No Fear hiding in bench?
Oh, they've got to clear this one out. They absolutely have to clear this out.
I don't know.
Every second that goes by that they don't check it. Oh, they've planted in the perfect position though. Milkjay will go down and he's been found. Thankfully, UL have gotten the bomb down and now they know they have control of the site.
Yeah, it was a bit dicey there, but thankfully the bomb was planted in a position that No Fear couldn't get anything done there, and a trade works out in their favour on a retake like this. However, Adam picks up that AK and he does good work with it, catching off Mitch, but Han now trades him out, gets that second on the cast, and it's just Flash now.
Han!
3rd frag for Han. Very important that he gets that, and he ties it up most importantly. This is the round to watch now, folks. If you're just tuning in, it was a fairly dominant performance for TUD on Inferno, but University of Limerick seemed to have crawled this back. It was a bit dicey in the first half, but so many rounds, 5 rounds in a row now on the T side, makes it 10-10.
This is something else from UL Esports. They've really come back into this one, and it's fantastic to see from, you know, a neutral perspective. This is what you want to see from a game of Counter-Strike. TUD now, they're not on the ropes. I mean, there's still quite a number of rounds either way before someone is thinking about winning this one. Oh dear, Cass, is he? Oh, he's... Oh no, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Blissfully unaware, but little mistakes like that, UL need to tidy that up, mop those kind of mistakes up. Don't allow Cass to continue to take these peaks. Look at this peak. He's going to find two for a third. Oh dear, Zerlius and Milkjay go down. Oh, it's all falling apart for UL. It was looking so good. Cass all on his own. He's just aced the round with that AWP. That's absurd. Nuts performance from Cass. He was one of the bottom fraggers on Inferno, and it wasn't for lack of skill. It was for lack of players to shoot at, because clearly when they line up for him, he is not afraid to land each and every shot.
Yeah, definitely agreed with you there, Cardinal. We were just talking about how UL had brought it back, and obviously so many rounds left to play. It's anyone's game, but those fundamentals yet again, if you're going to push onto the site, and it seems like University of Limerick does have some strats for their T side. They do have some executes, but you really need a player maybe up close and apps or something just to sort of push off any aggression there, and as a result Cass is able to punish big time. And we can see the second execute now for University of Limerick. They do get the trade, but Ventic with the AWP is good enough to catch Cinco off guard now. 3 versus 4, still pushing onto the site as Han is alone with the bomb and triple. Jumping up onto Ticket Booth is Ventic, unable to get the frag. Flash will do it for him as No Fear comes in just as Zerlius, my apologies, good for 2, but Cass with that AWP, he gets an ace in the previous round and he gets a team ace now for TUD.
Yeah, that was a nice spray down from Han. If he had flicked that onto the third player, I would have fell off my chair, I think. But unfortunately for UL, just not quite able to make good on the damage they inflicted across the board to TUD in the last round. I mean, Ventic gets caught out on Ticket Booth mid-jump. I believe he was falling down and couldn't land the op shot. Little mistakes like that from TUD are very, very rare, so they should be punished. And UL, I think, had the right idea. But something you said earlier, Ro, especially when Cass put on that performance for us from B-Apps, was the first player he took out, and excuse me for forgetting who it was, but they clearly had some sort of setup prepared. I mean, he was eyes in the sky, ready to pop out a smoke or a flashbang, whatever it was. They have executes prepared, and they know what they're doing, but just a small mistake, like not expecting Cass to push through when you give him that much space to play with, is why they've maybe lost a couple of rounds that would have gone in their favor otherwise. And I think they're aware of this too, because you see them in rounds where Cass does stuff like that. The next round they will play passively, they will step back, they will cover all their flanks, cover their angles, have someone holding from mid, etc. But it needs to be consistent, and when TUD do make a mistake, such as getting, you know, decent damage onto Ventic, getting flashed down quite low from stairs with nades, if they can convert on that damage, they'll be in such a better spot. But even when you do everything right, Flash still lands the shot with the M4, and it could be more of the same, but no, he gets run down.
Ooh, nice entries here onto the B side. Unfortunately, backup does come in, as it's just Zerlius now with the Deagle. Few HP left. It looks like it's going to be a knife. Oh dear, Cass.
Oh no.
Like, it's 13-10, it's 12-10, 13-10, and they're still going for the knife frags. This is the confidence that has come out from TUD. This is sort of a reminder, like, yo, we're still in control here. You know, we let you get those rounds. Don't worry about it. Cass gets an ace, and it's back under control, just like that. But yeah, definitely agreed what you said there, Cardinal, about the. I can feel like you can see University of Limerick realizing their mistakes and adapting in the next round, but you need to be adapting, or you need to have that experience to have adapted to that before and realize that, oh, somebody could push this, we need to hold for that. It shouldn't be, oh, this guy is pushed, oh, we'll hold for it next round. This should be something that you need to know about. So it's promising to see University of Limerick getting these rounds on the board, but knife kills like that and aces like that really just sort of tell you the story in this game.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, it's reactionary instead of proactively waiting for those kind of pushes to come through, and that's one of the big difference makers between good teams and great teams, is being able to exploit that map control just almost having that sixth sense of knowing where your opponents have allowed you to slip by. And that's so huge. Just like these frags that are coming in from UL, they're only down to 2 men left alive, but they've got the bomb down. They can afford to sit back now. It's all going to be on TUD. How has he not spotted Cass's gun barrel in the shadows? Oh no, and Zerlius goes down via the CZ. Very, very unfortunate, but that's a 28th frag for Cass. He has been popping off on Mirage. That's absolutely nuts. 3 under his belt. Adam's there with a kill of his own, and it's 14-10. UL, they did make it to double digits in this map, bro, but will they be able to continue that form, or have we seen everything from UL?
Interestingly, a pause called out here for TUD. I'm not really sure what they might want to be discussing. Maybe how they let that get to a 2 versus 2. Not entirely sure, but yeah, just some things just not going University of Limerick's way. And just when we were watching that round, some questionable plays, like a jump, I believe it was an attempted jump into window there that was just caught out by Cass. He saw him pushing up, and there was no sort of flashes or smokes being used, like no utility. 2 players just running out onto the A site, not realizing what angles the CTs could be retaken from. Like, the pieces are there. It's just University of Limerick needs to learn how to put them together, and hopefully with experience and with time that will be the case. So hopefully, I would like to hope, as I've said this quite a bit, I'm an optimistic guy. I would like to see a few more rounds here for University of Limerick, get these TUD guys sweating a little bit, and maybe having to turn on to the try-hard mode. Han trading out no fear there through the smoke. Adam just spots Cinco, the man that loves to peek around those smokes, caught out yet again. It doesn't seem to be working for him. And look where the bomb has been dropped, right out in the open. I don't know if Cass will spot it just yet. He gets the wall bang on the Han, however. And he jumps into underpass. Not a care in the world. Will get punished for it, however. Just Zerlius now on a 1 versus 3. Is he aware of the mid flank that is about to take place? Flash with the knife out. This is the lack of respect. Gets punished for it.
Oh,
and
Zerlius.
so does Adam. Ventic now in 6 HP, does have the AWP, which is the redeeming factor.
Oh,
but that missed shot is all that Zerlius needs to get the 4K. And there you go. That is the reverse side of having no respect for your opponents. Stuff like that happens.
Yeah, I think TUD maybe weren't taking that round as seriously as they maybe should have been, but at the same time, they know they can switch it on when they need to. They're having a bit of fun, you know, and that's the aim of the game at the end of the day, is to you know, have some fun and get the W at the end of it. But TUD, they are forced onto Deagles now, which is maybe why they had a bit of attack pause. Who knows? We can only speculate here from the caster desk. But I'm not going to take anything of that away from Zerlius. He's still the man who had to land the shots, and land the shots he did. They're going to be walking into a bit of a stack here, as they do have some Palace control. Oh no, wait a minute. Adam JC, how has he gotten there? How has he not been found? He must have not been in... Wait, no, he had to have been in Palace, but the angle mustn't have been checked, and they're going to pay dearly for it. Sink and Zerlius now left alive, and they've got... Boom! Dear! Beautiful shot. Very little control of the site, but it might be enough against these Deagles.
Yeah, I'm genuinely confused as to how Adam was allowed to push into Palace there. Thankfully for University of Limerick, they have been able to get somewhat of a bit of control here, bringing the bomb now onto the B site. But Cass picks up a Galil. I'm pretty sure there may be an AK on the side as well, but those steps, he hears Zerlius on the reload, and he might just catch him off guard. No, he tags him down to 46 HP. If it's anything like the previous rounds we've seen, Cass goes for this.
Oh, yeah.
Utility isn't the greatest on either side. Guns in favour as well for University of Limerick, but the HP is all on Cass. If he isolates these 1 versus 1s like he has just done there on Cinco, it's all down to him versus Zerlius, and he doesn't realise, though, of his position.
Oh no, I can't believe it. Zerlius, is he going to find him? It's a game of cat and mouse, but who's going to spot who first? Cass has gone the whole way around. The shots have rang out, but who's going to spot him? No, Cass, he's convinced he's in apps, but no. Zerlius has played this correctly. He's going to get away with the gun in hand as well. A beautiful display of an attempt from Cass. And honestly, I'll give him props just for that Galil spray. I don't know any CS player that actually knows what the Galil spray pattern is like, but he was able to make mincemeat of the first person in that aim duel. Fortunately for
Yeah.
TUD, it's another round for UL, but UL are going to take those every day of the week.
I'm just looking at the economy yet again. If you're TUD, there's probably a discussion going on about, do we force around this? Do we half buy? And we can see it looks like it will be a half buy situation here, and potentially another round on the board for University of Limerick.
14-12 is the current scoreline as we get into round number 27. There's not much left in this row, and I still do think if TUD decide they want to win this map, I think they'll do it, but UL are really making them work for it now. There's been a bit of trolling, I think, from the CT side every now and again. You know, maybe not as seriously as they could be taking this, but at the same time, UL, if this map was to end 16-12, if I was on this UL team, I would be absolutely chuffed with that performance. To put up 12 rounds against this team is no easy feat for any team. And the fact that they're still able to make this even closer than that is a fantastic sign compared to what we saw in Inferno.
Absolutely. And I feel like you can definitely tell comparing the executes and the map control on Inferno to this, that University of Limerick has practice on Mirage. Maybe not so much in Inferno, and it had shown. So here's hoping, the guns again in their favor, but we've seen how aggressive TUD can get. Splash pushing up in the middle gets that first frag on the Mitch. This is exactly what you don't want to see. I don't know if there'd be any sort of economy trackers maybe on the T side. Not really sure, but if they realize that this could be a bad buy for TUD, they might expect like a rush somewhere or a stack. I would be wanting to play maybe in positions where you can trade. Oh, a team kill there for No Fear. I might want to be playing in a position where I'm guaranteed to get the trade or something of that, bit of damage or something like that.
Yeah, that seems to be it. UL might have figured it out as the round progressed that, they weren't up against any amazing weaponry or utility, but it's always tricky, and especially for teams of this particular caliber, teams between the kind of UL to TUD skill level. There's so much going on in the middle of the game that when you don't have, a coach or an analyst there to kind of look after the economy side of things for you, it can be something that kind of gets put on the back burner in this kind of level of games. Whereas if you're in a pro match, you'd expect the other team to kind of know generally what sort of buy you're going to have every single round. Luckily for UL, they did figure it out before it was too late, and they were able to convert for a 13th. Now, TUD only 2 rounds away from a victory, but I never thought I'd say it. UL, if they win the next 3 rounds in a row somehow, they've taken this map away from TUD, and that would be such an accomplishment. I'm not going to get ahead of myself and say that it's looking likely, considering TUD do have a full buy in this round. Cass is on the AWP, locking down mid again, but this is really, really good from UL.
Yeah, definitely agreed with you there. And University of Limerick are currently in this group the team that are closest to Trinity, or not Trinity, my apology, Technical University Dublin. Frag, they're coming out on a second for Cinco, wallbang headshots. But as I was saying, any rounds against a team like this is just great. However, it doesn't look like it's going to be the case. 360 headshot onto Adam JC. Cinco now on a 1 versus 2. The HP not looking too well, and 30 seconds left. The bomb at the bottom of connector as well. Is this the save play into overtime? I think it might have to be the case.
He's put 3 frags on the board already, Ro. He has to ace if he wants this one. Only 16 seconds left. He needs to make up his mind. Is he going to save the up, or is he going to go for this one? If he gets spotted out, he's so low. A gust of wind will blow him over at this point, but I think you're right. 7 seconds left. He's going to save it up. They're going to play for overtime. I'm not sure if this is the right call. If he has even maybe a little bit more HP, it could have swayed his decision. But if he takes No Fear out with him here, that's a big kill. And look at the economy for TUD. They don't really have enough to full buy on the CT side. That kill alone makes this economic decision quite difficult for the CT side.
Yeah, again, there, like any frag that you can anybody you can take with you in that saving sort of situation is good, but that AWP will have to be the one to make all the difference. And I wouldn't say it has the greatest strength if you're trying to rush B. hopefully they can position them up into apartments and get some post-plant frags, but unfortunately the meat grinder is in full effect here. Cinco and a Milk J left. Just Cinco now with the AWP. It was looking dicey here for TUD, but I think they may have just decided to put on serious mode for long enough.
Yeah.
1 versus 4 for Cinco. Bakes the drop with a little gun drop there. That might just drive somebody away on the short. That nade, however, is so huge, and they will hear that scope. Cass just waiting for the swing. The jump shot is good. No Fear falls, but he won't check Cass, surely. And that will be the game. Definitely closer, and you love to see it, really. Like, TUD, such a great team. Getting some rounds put up against them. It's nice to see it, but in the end, it was an easy win. You know, a bit of disrespect here and there from TUD cost them a few rounds, and then they realized they had to put it into a higher gear, and 16-13 it is.
That seems to be the case, and unfortunately for UL, they will go 0-2, but a very, very entertaining second map. I think everybody at home will agree as well. UL, even though they lost today, they can still be proud of their performance, especially on Mirage. I want to really drive that home. That was a fantastic result from them. Cinco with 31 frags under his belt in regulation, only pipped by Cass with 33. And I mean, Cass probably had the play of the night with that 5-man ace with the AWP and BAPS. Huge
Definitely.
Performance from him. But yeah, I mean, TUD, as expected, did take the series 2-0, but UL made that a lot closer than I was expecting, and I'm really glad they did. So other than that, Ro, I think myself and yourself are finished for the evening. That's going to be all from us, and we will be back again next Wednesday for more of the Irish Collegiate Esports CSGO, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Actually, no, I believe we're having a show match tomorrow in League of Legends due to the preseason patch. We won't have our scheduled tournament stream, but we will have a little bit of a fun show match for anybody who's interested in League of Legends. Outside of that, Ro, anything else before we finish up?
Nothing that I can think of. In the end, a fairly decisive victory again for TUD, and yeah, there's not much more you can say. Thanks very much for watching, everybody.